Hi, most engineering managers track the wrong metrics. They track things like lines of code, number of commits, story points completed. But here's the problem. Those metrics don't measure engineering performance. They measure activity, not outcomes. Great engineering managers don't measure how busy engineers are. They measure how effectively their team delivers reliable software. So, in this video, I am going to walk through the metrics engineering managers should actually track to build high-performing engineering teams. Engineering teams are complex systems. Without the right metrics, it's incredibly difficult to answer important questions like, are we delivering value quickly? Are we building reliable systems? Are we improving or getting slower over time? Good metrics help engineering managers identify bottlenecks, improve developer productivity, reduce operational risk, and make better architectural decisions. But the key is tracking the right metrics. And over the past few years, the industry has converged around a very useful framework called DORA Matrix. DORA stands for DevOps Research and Assessment. These metrics are widely used by companies like Google, Amazon, and Netflix to evaluate engineering performance. Let's walk through them. The first metric is deployment frequency. This measures how often your team deploys code to production. High-performing teams deploy multiple times per day. Lower-performing teams deploy once every few weeks or months. Why does this matter? Frequent deployments indicate strong CI/CD pipelines, smaller code changes, faster feedback loops, and smaller deployments reduce the risk of production incidents. If your team deploys once a month, every deployment becomes a massive event. But if your team deploys multiple times a day, deployments become routine. Engineering managers should ask, how can we reduce friction in the deployment process? That's often where major productivity improvements come from. The second metric is lead time for changes. This measures how long it takes for code to go from commit to production. For example, an engineer writes code on Monday. If that code reaches production on Tuesday, your lead time is 1 day. If it reaches production in 3 weeks, your lead time is 3 weeks. Long lead times usually indicate problems like slow code reviews, manual testing bottlenecks, inefficient deployment processes. Great engineering teams minimize lead time because speed matters. When teams ship faster, they deliver value faster, respond to customers faster, learn faster. Engineering managers should constantly look for ways to shorten the path from idea to production. The third metric is change failure rate. This measures how often deployments cause incidents, outages, or rollbacks. For example, if your team deploys 100 times and 5 deployments cause production issues, your change failure rate is 5%. This metric helps engineering managers answer an important question. Are we moving fast safely? Because speed without reliability creates chaos. But reliability without speed creates stagnation. Great engineering teams achieve both. If failure rates are high, engineering managers should investigate insufficient automated testing, risky architectural changes, and poor observability. The goal isn't to eliminate failure completely. The goal is to make failures small, rare, and easy to recover from. The fourth metric is mean time to recovery, often called MTTR. This measures how quickly a team can recover from production incidents. No system is perfect. Even the best engineering teams experience failures. What separates great teams from average teams is how quickly they recover. If an outage happens, can the team diagnose the problem quickly? Do they have observability tools like logs and metrics? Can they roll back safely? Teams with strong operational practices often recover within minutes. Teams with poor operational practices may take hours or days. Engineering managers should invest heavily in observability, incident response processes, postmortems, because fast recovery dramatically improves system reliability. Now here's one metric that doesn't show up in dashboards: team health. Engineering managers should constantly monitor developer burnout, cognitive load, team morale. If your team is shipping quickly, but engineers are burning out, that system isn't sustainable. Healthy teams produce better software over the long term. So great engineering managers balance delivery speed, system reliability, team well-being. Because software engineering is ultimately a human system. If you are an engineering manager, focus on metrics that measure delivery and reliability, not activity. The 4 key metrics are deployment frequency, lead time for changes, change failure rate, mean time to recovery, and don't forget the 5th metric, team health. Because the best engineering teams aren't just productive, they are sustainable, resilient, and continuously improving. Now it is time for action. Let's note down 2 metrics that you want to monitor for the next 90 days. One for engineering performance and one for team health. For example, what is your deployment frequency and how many PTOs each of your team member is taking for the next 90 days? Because only if you measure, you can improve. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe for similar content in the future. I'll be sharing more content on engineering leadership, architecture, and building high-performing engineering teams. See you in another video. Until then, elevate.